All right, it is Mike Kim. Good to see everybody here. Welcome, my good friend Connie. She's here as well. Give a wave to Connie. Connie, give a wave to everybody. She has the better background of the two of us. Okay, I'm super excited for this. Keith, good to see you. Robert, good to see. Wow, a lot of old friends, a lot of new friends. This is awesome. So tonight we're doing a real low-key kind of share, I guess. I don't know that I would call it a webinar per se. But it's just kind of a low-key share on some things that I've done over the last, like very intentionally, especially over the last year, to kind of get to a point where I got my business to serve me rather than the other way around. And I know that this topic is very interesting to a lot of people because it doesn't matter where you are in your business building journey. It can very much seem like no matter how good business gets, you're just as busy all the time. Someone say a yes or give me a wave if that makes sense, right? And this is why I see so many business owners here who are in different stages. So I'm super excited to kind of unpack this for you. I'm gonna get right to it because you probably know a little bit about me, which is why you're here in the first place. We did not advertise this widely or anything like that. So I'm gonna share my Keynote screen here. It's just a couple of slides. And just make sure that you guys can see that. Give me a thumbs up if you all can see this, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yes. We all got it. Okay, cool. All right. Let me make sure you guys can see everything. All right. I'm gonna check on Zoom on this side. Okay, yes, you guys should see everything. All right. So this is I'm gonna do a little bit of a share on how I completely restructured my business so I could take 40 worry-free days off. Cat's out of the bag. I'm taking my first day off on Thursday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I have to do a few extra calls, but on Thursday I will be as free as a bird. And I plan to take a lot of time off. How many of you are down with that idea? Say yes if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I know that I shared this in the email, but a couple of years ago, I read a lot of these guys that a lot of these folks that I was following online, and some of them were talking about. I'm going to mute all. I don't know who unmuted themselves. We're going to all stay muted if that makes sense to everybody. Yeah, 40 in a row. I'm not coming back to work until. Let me show you the date here. It's actually longer. My first day back at work will be July 12th. Sorry, July 12th. So that's what I'm doing. All right. And so what I realized over time, just kind of building this kind of business, is there's always something to do. And years ago, I started to hear about some of these people who are in my space. Some of them have been mentors, others were colleagues. And they were talking about how they were going to take a month off of work. And I thought that was super pretentious, right? I was like, whatever. For us mere mortals, we can't do that. You're making a ton of money. And then I realized after a little while that it wasn't about how much money that they were making that allowed them to do this per se, right? Now, yes, you want to reach a certain income level. And if the revenue is like not coming on a recurring basis, then you got to change things around. And that's what I want to talk about tonight and share with you. And here's what I quickly realized. I remember actually two guys that come to mind. First was a guy named Michael Hyatt, and he did this. I remember him talking about this. And then my buddy Grant Baldwin did the same thing a couple of years ago. He took a month off of work. And so I just thought, well, it's because you guys have multi-million-dollar businesses or whatnot. And then I quickly realized it wasn't because they were making a gajillion dollars. It was all about the structure in the business. And where I got this inspiration from was from a book called Clockwork. So if any of you want to check it out, that's Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. Don't ask me to spell his last name. But the book is called Clockwork. And in the book Clockwork, which came out several years ago, he laid out a challenge to his readers who are small business owners to take a month off of work. Set up your business so that it's structured in a way that allows you to take a month off of work. So I realized that some of these people I was following at the time had probably just read his book, right? Okay, so that's probably what happened. And just to kind of spill the beans on how all this is working, right? And making sure that this helps. I don't know why that show or hide animation is coming up. Here's what I want to unpack by the end of tonight's session. I'm not going to keep you guys long. We're going to go under an hour. Okay. So here's kind of what I want to talk about. And these are the things that I did. I'm going to show you how I did them. And then I'll field any questions. So the first thing I did, I cleared one quote unquote no calls day a week. I want to see in the chat or by a raise of hands, and now we have a lot more people on the call now. We have 40 or so people here. I can't see everybody on one frame, but give me a yes if you are taking calls on every day of the work week right now. Give me a yes if you're doing that. Okay, so Sharon's saying yes. Okay, Marshall's saying yes. And I don't care if you're working only Monday to Thursday or Monday to Wednesday, whatever day you are quote unquote working, if you're taking a call every day of the week that you're working, I want you to say yes. Okay. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of yeses here. Right. And so the first thing I did was clear that. I tried to get rid of one day a week where I literally had no calls. Okay. And then Connie, can you just monitor whoever's signing in just to admit them in? Cool. Okay. So that's what I did. That's the first thing that I did. Then the second thing I did was I went to 1 day off per week. So what I started to do was just smush my calls all together on certain days. And what I found, guys, was that not every call I was taking was actually that important. Okay. And to Lydia's point here, she doesn't take calls, but you have schedule appointments. What I did was just remove all appointments. That's what I mean by a no call day. I want a no appointment day. Those of you who are in coaching in any way, shape, or form, you're content creating. How many of you would admit, like, there's a lot of written work that needs to get done during the work week? You're emailing, you're creating videos, you're doing social media, you're doing podcasts, you're recording your own podcast. There's just a ton of work to get done, right? And for me, I am mostly my own copywriter in my business. I'm mostly my own copywriter. And Keith said it really well. There's a lot of brain work, right? So the first and second thing I did was really try to establish that thing. Okay, no calls, no appointments. The third was to find out the most profitable things I do. Number 4 was to SOP, or standard operating procedure. I'm using it as a verb. The most profitable things I do. And then number 5 was I had to figure out a way to marry my public facing marketing with my private facing CRM, or customer relations management software. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit about the software that helped me, but really, regardless of whether you change your software or not, I think that just the first 4 steps is going to help everybody on this call in some way, shape, or form. Okay, does this make sense? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a go green. Yo, I saw Top Gun yesterday, guys. I saw Top Gun on Memorial Day. I'm an American. I was born in California, so I am an American. Okay, I'm Korean by descent, but I saw Top Gun Maverick on Memorial Day, and man, I'm ready to join the Air Force. Okay, they won't take me. I'm too old. I'm too tall, and I have terrible vision. But I'm ready, clear for landing. Okay, clear to go. All right, you guys ready? We're gonna dig into this a little bit and have some fun while we're at it, and then I'll open things up for questions. Because the more and more I dug into this, I realized I can do this. All right, so let me talk a little bit for a moment about these first 2 things. No call days a week, and then going to 1 call day per month, per week, 1 day off per week, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to give you a snapshot of my real calendar. This is my real calendar. And this does not include personal things on my calendar. Okay. Some of you know my work more than others. Most of us know, maybe last year was a busy time for me. So this was my calendar in May of 2021, a year ago. Now, I don't know if all of you believe in God or not, but I think that if you looked at this schedule, you would pray for me. Okay, this is bad. Like, this is really bad. And all of these appointments, sure, I had a few blank days here once in a while on a Tuesday, And maybe I had a spare Thursday here or there. But look at this. I'm even doing things on Saturday. Everyone shake their finger at me and say, no, 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 shame on you, bad boy. Okay, no, no, no. And this was a very busy season of my life, because if some of you are aware of this, last year at this time, I was getting ready to launch a book. So my book was coming out in July, right? And, you know, Robert said it there. I can see we chatted on May 21st. Yes, there you are, right? How creepy is that? You guys are seeing my calendar. Okay. But I will honestly tell you that not everything on this list was profitable. Does that make sense? Okay, and all of us have done or spent unprofitable time, right, in our calendar. Now, I thought after the book launch would be over, it would get a little bit better. And yeah, I have meetings with myself, yes. Well, that's actually with Connie. She just calls it Mike Kim marketing meeting. So that's what that meeting is on every Monday, right? So I thought after the book launch, it would get better. And I tried to do exactly what I shared with you guys. I was trying to like move calls off of Fridays, right? And you can see here, I'm like trying, it's not too bad. There's still, you know, a call there October 1st, and it's not bad here, but this is really bad. All of this is really bad, right? And here's the thing. Some of you were on those calls with me because I did a course launch, and I did a 6-figure plus course launch. We had over $150,000 in revenue. And I thought, amazing, life's gonna get great. I don't have to do the launch anymore. It's over. Guess what I had to do? I had to do one-on-one calls to onboard all the members of the program. So life didn't get much better, right? And we look here and we fast forward a few months later, and this is where I got really serious about changing my life. You can see here this last week of December, I didn't have anything because nobody, well, I had this one meeting here, the mastermind. And that week this past year, I was like, why am I doing calls on the last week of the year between Christmas and New Year's? Okay. And I really started to rethink my life. And this is when, as you can see here on the Fridays, I just blocked everything out in terms of my calendar and my availability. And I started to really take one day off. Now you fast forward a little bit further, okay, and you can really see I'm really sticking to this one day off a week thing, but it's compressing everything that I'm doing Monday through Friday. Okay, I know Kevin Turner's here. You know, Kevin probably sees himself somewhere on this list. We have some other people who are part of the program. All of these were one-on-one calls to support the program that I ran. Okay, and you can see that I have a lot of podcast interviews and all this stuff. So while this looks better, guess who did 0 writing work and 0 thinking time? This guy right here. I had no time to do it. So I had to really, really change some things in the way that I looked at my life and my business. And now, you know, cat's out of the bag. I'm leaving, you know, I'm off grid in 2 days. And this is what my calendar will look like when I get back. And everyone just say, oh, right? Like, I would like that, okay? And I'm gonna show you guys what I did here to make this happen. And because I really wanna help us focus on the right things. And this is not a fake thing. This is legitimate. I'm only doing podcast interviews on the first Monday of the month that I'm available. So you guys can see here, it's July 11th, there's a podcast. And it's not the 4th because that's a holiday here in the US, so I pushed it down one. And then this meeting right here, advisor, that's a meeting with my tax people, my accounting people and bookkeeping. So we do a once a month meeting. And then this right here is my meeting with Chelsea, my assistant, right? Let me move this window here, sorry about that. This is my monthly meeting with my assistant, Chelsea. She's the director of, you know, operations for the business. And then this is a mastermind call, right? So these 5 things are the most profitable things in my business. And I decided I'm just gonna do them. Now, what am I gonna do? What do you guys think I'm gonna do with this meeting right here? I'm going to move it. I'm going to ask my financial advisor to do it on this day. And therefore, every 2 weeks, I have a week off if I want it. If I don't want the week off, guess who's going to write another book? This guy, right? And guess who's going to blog more? This guy. And who's going to have more time and margin to think about things? I will, right? So this is really what my life is going to look like when I get back. And it's really this first day of the week, or this first full week of July that I come back. Okay. All right. Now, I know you guys have like all these questions. You may be like, okay, how are you doing this? So let me go back and remind you, we just did step 1 and 2, and I'm going to dive into 3, 4, and 5. Is that cool? Thumbs up. Give me a yes if this makes sense. I feel like I'm talking amongst friends here, workaholic friends, one to another, I guess, right? Okay. All right. So I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to open my iPad here, and we're going to sketch a few things, and then I'll take some questions. Let me get the iPad set up. All right, I'm going to share some numbers with all of you, right? Or just you know, kind of think through all of this stuff here. Okay, one of the exercises that I'd invite you to do, even right now, just so you don't forget, okay, is, and some of you have read my book or been through a program with me, you guys already kind of have heard this, but it bears repeating. The first thing I want you to do, whether tonight or once you have some time to think about this, okay, once you have some time to really think about this, is to write down all the services you offer in one column, all the products you offer, and then all the hybrid stuff that you do. And I'm betting, because I know the folks who, you know, are pretty much in my audience pretty well, like relatively well. I know a lot of you guys already. I'm almost going to just map this out for you. Okay. And Susan, I see your comment here. First full day off in a couple of years yesterday. Okay, you and I need to talk. We need to we need to fix this, lady. All right. So here are some of the things that I can write down, and a lot of you will resonate with this. There's a one-on-one coaching. That's a service, because it's time for money, right? It's time for money. You can have group coaching or masterminds. You can have freelance work. Those of you who are marketers, this definitely falls into your lap here, right? You can do workshops, because you still have to show up to the workshop. I know that when Keith trains his coaches, he's pretty much got to train them. He's got to be there, right? Unless he's hired other coaches to do that, but he's probably still at some of his own events, right? Workshops and other events or conferences, you know, seminars, whatever you want to call it. That's all work that you have to do, right? It's active work. Okay. And on it goes. This could be anything else. You know, I see Sharon, and one of her businesses is that she owns a travel agency. So she's probably got to talk to these clients, do the sales calls, all this sort of stuff, right? It's active time that she's spending. Now, way over here on the right side with products, these are truly things that once you create them, you don't have to do anything with them again, and they can make you money. Okay, so I've got a book. I have some courses, online courses that I don't do any live support for. I might have other digital products, anything along those lines. If you sell clothes and merchandise, okay, right? And I know you're like, Mike, where is this coming from? Here's a funny thing. So my director of operations and really good friend, Chelsea, who some of you know, she made a hoodie out of the little campfire logo that's in my book. And then she sent it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, we should start a clothing line just for the fun of it, right? Okay, we can think outside the box, right? Some of you could do that, okay? But anything that's passive, right? I know that this doesn't really, but I'm just talking anything that's truly passive. And then hybrid is going to be a mix of things. So some people sell courses, but they also offer coaching along with it. And that's a hybrid offer. And so here's what I really, really want to ask you to do, right? And this might be coaching and or a course, right? And other things come to mind. If you're a speaker, I see Kevin on here again. He's looking to grow his speaking business or speaking gigs, right? So any of this stuff is active. And what I really want you to dig into, is to ask yourself, which of these things is the most profitable thing? Name the most profitable thing in each column. Most profitable thing. Okay. And what I mean by that is, for the amount that you spend to put into selling that thing and making it hum, what is the ratio or the return on the investment of time and money? How profitable is it? So when I look at this, right, that's gonna, for my business, it's gonna differ from yours, but a big part of that is your pricing for those products and services, the amount of time that you're putting in, and so on and so forth. Okay, give me a way. I know this isn't really like mind-blowing content, but we have to figure out what's the most profitable thing that you do is. I'm going to give you a little bit of a challenge. Okay. And here's my new rule. You guys this may shock you. I refuse to do anything this point forward unless it's 75% profitable. I want to just hard line this completely in the other direction to really, really, really challenge you to look at what the most profitable thing in your business is. Do you have 5 things that are all about the same profitability? Or do you have 1? And you're spending too much spread thin on these 5. When I did this, it was really apparent to me what the most profitable things I did were. Okay. So I want to challenge you to do things that are blatantly profitable and then understand what that is at least. Now, you might not be able to cut away everything in your business, but I want you to really think about what that thing is. Now, how many of you would say, yes, I know, like, you know what the most profitable thing in your business? Like, you just know. Okay, Giles knows. It's like, wow, I don't do that much work to make this thing work, or I don't do any work at all, and it brings in revenue. If you don't do this, you really end up in a situation where it's difficult for you to unplug your calendar. Okay. So who does not know? Just say no in the chat. I'm like thinking that like literally the lack of response is everyone feeling like crap right now because like, dang, you know what? I really don't know. Cassandra said no. Sylvie said no. Okay. No, don't. All right. This is good that we're having this conversation. And Lydia said I work for a nonprofit. Hilarious. Okay. So what I want us to really think through is what that most profitable thing is and double down on. So I'm just going to share what my business looks like. And nothing is super clean and distinct. There's always an overlap. And to Keith's question here, profitable, cash to cash invested, or is there some time in the equation too? I'm thinking mostly about time. And here's why. And I'll say this, and great question, Keith. Because the personal brand industry, right, is so marketing heavy, it requires so much marketing. My greatest asset in my business and the feeling that contributes to me most being able to unplug is more time. That's a horrible way of saying it, but does that make sense? I'd rather have more time at this point than money at a certain point in the business, because the nature of my business requires so much time. Some people have businesses where you just put money in and it produces more money. But in the coaching business, and I think many of you are coaches or speakers or consultants, would that fit? right? That fit that description, yes. Okay. And so what you're having a hard time creating is time, because you still have to market things. So I'm gonna try to unpack this here, but I want to show you what my activities look like in a given week. Okay, and then I'm gonna open this up. Okay. So I used to have mastermind calls. Okay, great. I would have a few one-on-one coaching clients. Great. I did workshops occasionally. Some of you have attended those workshops. I did a coaching program. It was called You Are the Brand. So I'll just put the YATB, You Are the Brand course or / program. That had a lot of time involved in it. Okay. So these were a lot of client deliverable things. These are the things that once someone buys, I have to do for them. I have to create this stuff. Okay. Now, on the other hand, I have things that are about marketing. So every given week, these are the things that never change about what I do. A podcast, social media, okay, emailing my list. I write the copy for those things, okay, anything along those lines. So it doesn't matter how busy the left side gets, I still always have to do the right side. And no wonder I'm running out of time, right? No wonder I'm running out of time. So what I noticed when I really looked at everything that I did here on these 3 areas, okay, what I realized that on the services side of things, because I like to do services, I like to provide services, right? I have done all of these things in my career at some point or another. What the most profitable thing I did was, by far, was this. It was a mastermind group. By far. By far. And I'll take you inside what I do with my mastermind groups. This is not a pitch for the mastermind groups. They're all full. Okay. I'm going to show you how I did that. But that's what I realized was the most profitable thing that I did. Okay. Over here on the product side, the most profitable thing I've ever sold, right? When I think about time, to Keith's point, was a digital product. And I'm going to show you what that digital product is. This digital product is a client proposal template that normally sells for $97. Okay, $97. I created this years ago based on my own client proposals. And Kay said I use that template all the time. Thank you for the free plug there. And I updated it a couple of years ago to make sure it was still relevant. So I update it once a year. Just take a look at it, right? And I just showed this screenshot to one of my my training program people, right? One of my masterminds. And I created this back in 2015. And to date, this thing has made almost $30,000. Now you might say $30,000 is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money over 5 years. I beg to differ, because if you were working a corporate job and you wanted a raise every year, the percentages don't play in your favor. This is basically a nice car. And I realized what was feeding the sales of these templates were things that I was doing normally in my work week anyway. So why don't I do more of these things in my work week, in my podcast, my social media, and my email marketing that points to this, right? Instead of podcasting and doing social media and writing email copy for all these 5 different things, speaking gigs and freelance work and workshops and consulting, why don't I just direct more of it to the thing that is already selling with very minimal input of my own time, and therefore is the closest thing to a really passive product that I have? Why don't I do more of that? And if I were to really turn on the jets and get more sales, who knows the answer to what I should do? If I really want to turn up the jets, to sell that product, this $97 product? Who knows the answer? What do you think I would do, or I should do? I'm asking you guys for advice. What do you think I should do so that I don't have to work as much? What would I do? Everyone's stumped. It'd be really smart if I ran Facebook ads and grew my email list and then just promoted the same thing over and over and over again and put more money into the Facebook ads to sell this thing, which is already selling, rather than doing all these other things here on the left column, all of these things. And I'm not saying that those things are bad. I'm just saying at least I start to have an awareness of where the most effortless revenue is coming from. Okay, so we've made up a new term tonight. Most effortless revenue, the MER. Okay, the most effortless revenue. And what that does is it allows me, when I come back in July and August and you see all that white space on my calendar, if I feel like it at any point, I can do one of these things. I can do workshops or speaking or consulting, but I know that my business is really focused on the right things. Okay, so is this starting to make sense a little bit? Now, here's the general rule, and I'll try to say this succinctly. These tend to be, these tend to be over here on the product side. These tend to be cheaper than services. Does that make sense? Yes, right? Because if someone's going to hire you for something rather than buy a book that you wrote, they're going to pay more for the service, right? So the general rule of thumb is the lower the price, the higher the traffic you have to drive to that thing. So what I realize now, and I didn't really think about it this way, is that if I run ads and sell this product and grow my email list at the same time, all I'm doing is the stuff that I'm doing anyway every week: podcasting, social media, and email. I'm doing the same thing every week, okay? And then that allows me to focus on growing the things that are the most profitable. Now, here is where the rub is for tonight, and then I'm going to open up the floor for questions, because I hope that this is helping. But let me talk a little bit about masterminds. For years, I've run masterminds. I think I'm halfway decent at doing them. You know, I've done them for 7 years. People stay in mastermind groups with me for multiple years. And that it's the most profitable thing that I do on this list of active services that I provide. Okay. I don't have to pay for a workshop room. I certainly don't have to pay for a conference. Those of you who came to You Are the Brand in Denver, if I showed you the bill for everything, you'd probably be like, wow, that's a lot of money. And it is, right? And it's a lot of headache, right? It's a lot of work. So when I look at masterminds, they're the most profitable thing. Unfortunately, I never created an SOP for it. I never had a system for it. And I want you to write this down. This is not a Mike Kim quote. I believe it's a James Clear quote. And this is what he says. The gist of it is this: you do not rise to the level of your talent. You fall to the level of your systems. And everyone just rub your face and say, ouch, that hurt, because James Clear just slapped us across the face with a burning truth. I'm going to write this down so you don't forget it. You don't rise to the level of your talent. You fall to the levels or the level of your systems. Now, James was writing this about the systems in your life, but most business problems are life problems in disguise as business problems. Okay, anyone of you who've been in business a little bit longer than a year knows this to be true, right? And so I really started to think about this. I like what Aurora said. She said, this quote has been sticking with her, right? And so what I realized was I had a really profitable thing in what my business offers, these masterminds, and I did not have a system for it. And that's why I could never do 2 of them, or 3 of them, or 4 of them, or 5 of them. Okay. Is this making sense so far? I had to really, really think about this. So I'm just going to talk about the mastermind and how much manual work we put into it until Chelsea and I started to SOP it. And then Connie gave us a system that allowed us to do this, which has just resulted in some pretty significant gains for the business. So here's the process. Someone would fill out an application and they book a call with me for one-on-one if the application looked good. Okay. And if they were good on the one-on-one call, they would register for the mastermind. Okay. And then they would join. We would start the mastermind group. This was the process. Unfortunately, this is nice for one person, but unfortunately, if I have to do it for 25 applicants, guess what? I've got a lot of emails going back and forth. Does this make sense? And this is literally how I used to do it. I'm going to show you in green. Once they would apply, I would have to manually go into my Google Forms and look at the responses and read them there. Then I would have to email them a link to book a one-on-one call. So I would manually copy and paste an email that I had pre-written, paste it into Gmail and send it to them, right? Once they did that, and I said that it was good, because I didn't want to be in my email all the time, someone had to email them the registration link. Guess who that someone was? My assistant. Guess who had to pay the assistant to email the things that I didn't want to email? Me, right? So you guys can see that this is adding up to a lot of hours, right? You can see how this could add up to a lot of hours, okay? And once they register for the mastermind, then we have to sell them, send them into the calendar invite, send them the calendar invites and get them all set. And this looks nice and very, very simple with one. What if I have 100 people apply? What if my audience grows? I'm actually penalizing myself for growing if I don't have a system. Does this make sense? Right? So I had to come up with something that made all this work together. Right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just show you guys how all this worked, because on top of this, all of my forward-facing marketing was disconnected from this. And this is part of my CRM. This is customer client relations management. Does this make sense? Right? So they would find out about this. I would email my list. Okay, they would come into the application through the emails on my list, or I could promote it on social media, okay, or whatever, on my podcast or whatever. And basically, this is the way that my business worked. I had one track of things like here, and this is the CRM of the business, and that's moving us forward, hopefully, to making more money, right? It's moving us forward. But then I had this whole other track with landing pages, forms, okay, other lead magnets, the podcast page, and all of this, podcast notes, all of this was a different system, and it was never talking to these things, right? So there was a lot of manual stuff. How many of you are on something like Kajabi or ClickFunnels or any of these other kind of programs out there, and it doesn't really tell you much more about the customer as a whole in your entire business? Yes, right? Okay. You look at a name, you look at this person visited my landing page and went onto my email list, but you don't know if they paid or not, because that's a different system, right? It's a different system. So let me show you now. Chelsea set up a process for this, but she and I were killing ourselves going back and forth, looking at Google Forms, emailing each other, pinging each other in Slack, and be like, did you see that thing? And did you see that thing? And just going back and forth, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start to share the system that helped us do this. And I can share all this because, it's really what's worked for me. in terms of getting this most profitable thing in my business up to snuff. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Let me grab this and I'm going to share it here. And I'm going to take some questions. Okay, this is the application form. And Connie put this in a new system that she and I have been working on and working my business through in the last year and a half. We've white labeled this software, and so we've called it Brand You Funnels because everything in my world is called Brand You. Okay, but this is not a Google form. This talks to my back end system. So I'm going to show you guys what happens. I'm just going to fill this in just real quick. I'm just going to be a bad applicant. No, I'm not going to tell him anything. Okay, but I'm going to just do all this really quick. And what you'll find is that I'm going to show you the back end of the system. I'm going to submit it. And I submitted it with this email. The answers will be coming. And what happens is that this is a dummy email account, so never email me at this account. There are my responses. Okay, it like instantaneously just came to me, right? And I'm going to show you what's on the back end of all of this and what it all looks like. And you guys are getting like an unprecedented look at the back end of my business. Please do not screenshot things and start sharing them with everybody. Okay, that would not be cool. All right, and I'm just going to have a new share here. We're going to go into the back end of Brand New Funnels. And when I go into opportunities, that whole SOP that Chelsea created for us, Connie reworked into this system. And it's within you mastermind applicants. You guys can see how quickly this just happened, right? This pings me at my email and I see that this person, Michael Kim, filled out a form and I have his info here. Even in the notes, it tells me everything I need to know, everything he filled out. Okay. Now what happens is if I like this person and I see that it's a good fit, all I do is I can either drag him over, I can just do this, schedule an interview. And this is that one-on-one call. And I update it. And boom, this guy, Michael, has been moved over. Let's see where he is. He's moved over right to this side thing. Okay, this next column. Okay. And then when I go back into my email, I will see the invitation to this. Okay, hold on. I got to refresh because things are slow. And my point is that once he goes into this part of the system, I will get another email that tells me to book a call, right? And once I book the call, and if I think that this person is a right fit, here he is, Michael Kim, okay? He gets an email. I can move him over to, yeah, he booked an appointment. Let me slide him over right there. And once he books an appointment, he gets another email automated. And then if I like what I've seen in the appointment, I send him the great fit. Here's the auto pay link. So if you give this a few moments, all of these emails are going to pop up within a few moments in my email account that I signed up with. And all of these emails have been pre-written by me beforehand. And what's amazing is that I can see all of these emails if I just go in and hit these tabs and look at what I've said to this person. Okay, so it's going to take a few minutes to kind of register and send me the emails in my Gmail account. But everything that you see there will happen. And let me show you where all this happens. In the new mastermind funnel, you can see here that as soon as someone fills out the form, it creates this opportunity. I get notified. There's a note, which is where their responses in the application came from. And watch this. This is super cool. This has stopped Chelsea and I from ever emailing people manually. I pre-wrote this email. hey, Michael, thanks for filling out the mastermind form. Mike will reach out after reviewing all the applications and so forth, right? And we go right down the line, and every step of the way, wherever I need an email written, it's in there. So here's this email that he will get. Thanks for your interest in my mastermind group. I've read through your intake form, all looks good. The next step is to book an appointment by clicking here. They get the link, and every step of the way, there is a new email that gets sent to that person based on where they are in the process, okay? Now, I know this is getting really technical, but I wanna show you what this all looked like, because this is a real look at my actual live mastermind funnel, okay? What this has done is it has allowed me to go from working initially with 12 people to then working with 24, and then scaling this because it's the most profitable thing I do, at least on the services side. And I want you guys to see what this looks like. We just finished this. There are 58 people and $29,000 of monthly recurring revenue through this service. There are a handful of other people who have still not paid. If this guy pays, then it will move him over into that other funnel. And effectively what this has done is it has allowed me, instead of spending time emailing every single person, it's allowed me to scale the thing that is the most profitable thing that I do, okay? And that, coupled with the other things that I talked about tonight, about moving my calendar around and doing all those things, that's how I'm actually able to take all of this time off and find a break in my schedule, okay? So I wanna open it up for questions here. I'm gonna stop the share here. Now, with this product, if any of you are interested in it, we have, I think, over nearly 100 people who are using this software. And it is the same thing that has allowed me to scale my business, right? And we'll have some questions here, like whether it's about this particular piece of software versus what else I've been doing versus what is the most profitable thing that you do. I'm happy to answer questions. And real quick, before we go into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you want to be onboarded onto this software, in a few minutes, Connie and I will just let you know what we can do for you, if that's cool. Now, here's the other thing. I see that some of you have questions, Paige has questions. I'm happy to answer the questions. I still want to bring you back to what really allowed me to do these things, right? To really, really reconfigure the business. And it was these 5 things. It was starting first by getting control of my calendar, which then made me figure out what the most profitable thing I do really is. And then I had to ask myself if I could scale that by finding systems. And now this software allows me to link both the marketing side and the back-end management of my business, to the point where I can go in and look up anyone and see everything that they've done in one place, because everything's in one place, okay? So I wanna kind of open this up for some questions, and then in about 5 minutes or so, if anyone's interested in hearing more about this software or what Connie and I can do for you in this, we'll be glad to answer those questions, okay? Paige, fire away, what's your question?
How different is this from a system like Keep?
So Keep primarily is an email marketing program, okay? They do a lot of what I would say the forward-facing marketing, landing pages, email marketing, so on and so forth. They do an element of CRM, right? When you're dealing with your customer relations management stuff. But the back end of it, most of the people who I work with, they don't have a fully online business. They have a services-based business that they want to scale. And so this system allows me to do all that on the back end, if that makes sense. What do you use Keep for? Is it email marketing?
I don't have a system yet. I'm just comparing some.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
yeah, I wonder what would be best for someone just starting out.
Yeah, I think the fact that I'm moving everything to this and I've moved everything to this says a lot about how versatile it is, because it's allowed me to do one-on-one coaching clients. It's allowed me to do groups, and it's allowed me to do all of the workshops and the conference registration. They're all in one place. Giles, why don't we go to you, and then I'll show you guys exactly what I mean by that. You can see all of the information. So Giles, take it away. Feel free to unmute yourself, and happy to answer any questions that you have.
Sure, Mike. My voice is a bit broken at the moment, but
No
if
worries.
you can hear me clearly, too much talking. Yep. I appreciate that your main profitable area is mastermind groups. You've done a lot of other things as well. Have you created SOPs for those other things? I can see how it works for this mastermind area. I would say my forte is more in the speaking area, although I'm developing the mastermind area. I think that is much, that's a more profitable area in general if you can get it going. I'm just wondering, in these other areas, do these CRMs work in the same way? Because a mastermind group has its own complexities, doesn't it? Which is perhaps different than sort of being invited to a speaking engagement.
Yeah, so typically what I do, even with speaking engagements, I have a little funnel set up for that as well. So if someone wants to reach out to me and they want me to speak at their event, now I know the events I speak at might be a little bit different than what you speak at, but by and large, they're the same, because not the same, but the logistical side of things is the same. Dates, venue, travel. There are probably some questions that your team has for the event coordinator that they need answered in order to move things to the next step. So what I have is just a speaking form. It's for the event coordinator, and it collects the basic info. Now I have that link, right? And if someone says, "Hey, Mike, would you be open to speaking at my conference in 3 months?" Yeah, I'd be open. Why don't you let me text you or email you this link and just fill out the details there. That will help my assistant get in touch with your team and work everything out. And on that form, it will be the dates of the event, the venue, the approximate size or number of attendees, right? Do you need us to book our own travel, or are you going to book it? Check box, yes or no, right? And all of these things processed in there, then it just pings me and gives me all the responses, just like it did with the mastermind applicant. That way, it's my job, because at some point I have to make some decisions. Like, I'm ultimately the person who should decide whether I want that speaking gig or not. Connie can't decide for me, or Chelsea can't decide for me, right? So as soon as I see that, the wonderful thing is that this whole program is also on my phone. So if I'm on the go and I see it notify me, it just says someone just spilled out the speaking app, I just go right in and I can look at it right there on the go and just move them right over, right? So it's pretty incredible in terms of like what you can really do, and the amount of customization that you have here. And so if I'm looking, even with checking my emails, and I know you guys can, let me see if all of these are emails from the mastermind applicants. And the incredible thing, Giles, is that I don't actually have to go into my Gmail account to talk to these people. I stay right here and I text them from this app, and it comes from my email. So I'm not even checking my email and trying to lose it. I've cut down on email time because this is really what I care about to run the business overall, right? This right here, right? This list of messages. And as long as I'm in here and I'm talking to these folks, I'm talking to the customers and the prospects in my business. And my email, even my personal email account, my work email account, becomes secondary to this, because I have a system that's bringing in all the leads into one place. I'm checking the leads in one place. I'm emailing back to those people from that same place. And I'm not even on Gmail. It's pretty incredible. And there's so many different ways that I use it. Connie set it up so that we could sell our event tickets in Denver in April. We use this system. Everyone's in here. And what's incredible is, let me see if I can pull a person up and show this. What's really, really special for me as a business owner is to be able to see like a lot of the history and what this person has done, right? What a person has done in my business. Let me just pull up somebody as an example. Here, I'm going to just use it. And it's okay that I kind of show her name because there's nothing confidential about it, right? But I'm going to show you guys my screen here. Let me move your window. So here's Katie, and she just joined the mastermind. Okay, she just joined the mastermind group. Most of us, well, prior to having something like this or a system, would say this, Giles and everybody else, oh, great, I have somebody in the mastermind group, or someone joined one of my programs, but you really don't know how they found you. How many of you would say you do not know how people are finding you? Say yes in the chat, if that makes sense, or give me a wave. Right. And this is a problem because you want to get information on what you should be spending money on, what's really good for you. Okay. So when I check on Katie, when I click on her name, I can see everything that she's done as long as all of those things were inside Braindew Funnels, inside the system. You can see all the pages that she's visited inside Braindew Funnels. Let me actually go back here and I'll just show you what pops up when I just click this, because this will be really quick. These are all the things that she's done in my business. So what this means is she bought my book a year ago. She literally bought my book. She attended my conference, YATB Live. And she filled out the mastermind and she joined the mastermind. She's relatively new to me and to my world. Does this make sense? And this is really powerful information. So having it all in one place makes it really easy to see where a lot of these engagements are coming from. Giles, you do a lot of content creation, right? You're probably taking people who are on your social media and trying to put them onto your email list. That's the right thing to do, but you lose touch or track of what they do after that. You're not really sure. Here's another incredible thing when it comes to managing customer relations, right? I can see everybody who's ever bought a digital product from me by just clicking this one tab, and boom, it's going to come up here in a second. Let me just kind of, here, let's just booking coaching, right? Here's Katie. Oh, okay, it's because I still had her in the thing, in the search bar. I can see everybody who has bought my book through the page that we created. Or if I go to digital products and sales, this is really cool, guys. So what I can do is all of these people, 78 people have ordered my copywriting kit. What I can do in an instant is email all 78 of these people without going into ConvertKit, without going into MailChimp, without doing all this craziness and importing and exporting. I can email them right from here and say, hey, I know you purchased my high converting copy kit. Super thankful and hope you found it helpful. I'm doing a free copywriting webinar I'd love for you to attend. And on the back end, I'll be talking about a workshop on copywriting that you may find interesting. That's really powerful. I was never able to do that before. That level of understanding who's really in my world. Now, did you have another question, Giles? I want to make sure that I kind of, hit on all that.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. All right. So let me kind of wrap things up here. Again, I'll stay on for as many questions as you need, right? But let me share a little bit about what Connie and I can do for you here. What we're going to do is we're going to offer up, if you're interested in Braindew Funnels, and I believe earlier Kathy just said she loves it. She's been on it for a little while, and we moved her over to the business. If you just want to try this software out, one of the amazing things about this is the support that you'll get from our team to do this. We're going to give you a month free, and Connie will have some coaching calls and stuff like that ready for you. But if you just want to try out the software and make sure that it's right for you, right? Just tinker around with a little bit of what I've shown you. You can get a free 1-month trial. And after that, it'll be $129 a month. And again, this will replace ClickFunnels, Kajabi, Lead Pages, Calendly. It's replaced all of those things for me, which is pretty incredible. So not only am I centralizing all of the stuff that I do, I'm saving money by reducing my tech stack, and everything is talking to one another. On the other hand, if you want, like, if you're pretty much ready to go and you feel like, okay, this is really good, I'd like some support with this. I'm at a starting point. Mike, I have a business that's kind of similar to yours. I do one-on-one coaching. I have clients who are in groups. I have masterminds. I'm selling workshop tickets and all that sort of stuff. Every process that I use in my business is in there. So even all the landing pages, all the sales pages I've created, you get those templates. Excuse me, just a cough. So let me just share with you what this all looks like, and then I will kind of unpack or answer some of the other questions that you guys have. So what we're doing here is, if you're ready to kind of move forward and you feel like, okay, this sounds like the right step, what we'll do is we'll do a 30-minute onboarding call. Connie will do that with you. We'll do an integration call to help set up any of the back end that you need, right? So if you're running mastermind groups and you don't want to do this all by yourself, we'll help you get set up. If you have an email list somewhere else on MailChimp, ConvertKit, whatever it is, we'll move your email list over to this system, or you can keep using the current email. Just make sure all your landing pages are inside Brand New Funnels. And if you have a small website and you just want to use Brand New Funnels as your website, you can do that too. And we'll migrate it over. It'll mimic the design and everything for up to 5 pages. In your email list, we'll set up your branding. I'll show you guys screenshots of all this stuff in a moment. All of the funnels that I run, mastermind funnel, speaking funnel, workshop funnel, live event, what are all those triggers? What are all those pre-written emails? What are they all saying? All of that's in there, right? The blog template and everything else I ever build, because I'm going full in on this system. Connie told me about this about 1.5 years ago. And I was like a lot of you guys, I was a little skeptical about, changing everything in my business over. But the reality of it was that I was paying for ClickFunnels, I was paying for Kajabi, I was paying for ConvertKit, I was paying for Calendly, I was paying for Zapier that made all those things talk to each other. I was paying for a lot of different services, and I've just moved everything over to the system. Okay. And then everything else I do from here on out, we just stick into the library of content that's in there. So the cool thing about that is that you literally can just download all of, or you'll have in your system, all of the things that I've built for my own business. So if you go into, for example, let me just show you guys. Into let me share this here. Into the back end of your system, you will see all of these pages that we've created over the last several years. And all of this stuff is literally just sitting in your account. And you can just edit this. So you have all the formatting, right? You just got it all here with you. Okay, so a lot of the SOPs and the processes are there, right? And then we'll help you get set up on the back end there. And then on top of that, we'll do coaching calls, support here. Someone said just before that the support was really, really great. And we take pride on that. Connie and the team are amazing when it comes to that. And we'll migrate you over to all of this stuff. And let me just show you the last stuff. Connie does live weekly coaching calls to help you understand how to use the system. So let's say, Jaws, in your case, you're a speaker. Okay, you show up on this call and be like, hey guys, how do I'm running into this hiccup where once they book, I need a way to automate that and make sure that my assistant knows and I know, and we can start the next thing. Okay, and I want to build some custom forms. You can ask those questions and she'll unpack all of that for you. Okay. Now, every once in a while, once a quarter at least, I come in on those calls and I talk about something that I've recently used Brand New Funnels to do. Of course, in the last year, I did a book. I wrote a book, marketed that book with book packages, and we had bonuses for that book in order to get people on my email list. Now we can track them all. I can talk a little bit about the strategy behind that. Or we did a live event in Denver a couple of months ago, right? And I'm talking about what we did with the sales page and how I configured the sales page to make sure that it really communicated the value of the event. And you have that sales page. So it's kind of like, if you use the tech that I use, then I can tell you how I use it and how I've gotten results and how you might be able to use it in your own business or your own initiatives. You've got the training call with Connie. She does a lot of the tech stuff. I do the strategy stuff. And you have customer support 7 days a week via Slack, online chat, and the help library. Connie has recorded videos herself. They're not from the people who had engineered anything along those lines, because we understand how you and others who are using the software because of us are probably going to use it. So think of it like we're basically coaching you to use the tech in your system to help set up the systems in your business that you need. And then if you do this package, we'll just give you 3 months of the software for free. But all of this with Connie's help and the coaching and the onboarding, this is just $9.97. And what we'll do is I'll email you guys about this. You may probably have other questions about the software, and we'll answer those. You can chat with Connie. You can come on to the next training call, anything that looks like. She handles all that migration and the tech side of things, and I'll handle all the strategy. Okay, so let me stop the share here a little bit. And I know that this can be a little bit overwhelming when talking about systems, but the bottom line, what I want you guys to know is, if I didn't have this system that Connie set up, and I didn't understand the 5 things that I told you about, blocking time first, and then making sure I understood what the most profitable thing was, and then finding a system that did this, there's no way that I could take the kind of time off that I'm taking. There's no, and part of the reason for that is because there is no way that I could have scaled the most profitable thing in my business. And because I couldn't scale that, I'd still be doing a lot of the other things that were not as profitable, that were honestly wasting a lot of my time and my energy and money. It's incredibly freeing to me to know that I can literally have everything in this system. And if anything happens, I can just go into one place and check and look at everything and just make sure that everyone who has been responded to, all of the emails from the people who come into a program with me, I handle right through this system. I never have to log into Gmail. And I feel really, really light and at peace, because if anyone down the road is interested in a mastermind, I can just send them that link and it'll be there, and I can go right in the back end and say, just wait. I can open something up in a couple of months. And that's what allowed it to scale. Now that all of this has been done, I'll just share a little bit about what happened in the last 2 weeks. I emailed my list that I was opening a mastermind group, and we had something like 91 people apply. And if I had the old system that I did with Chelsea, I would have been completely overwhelmed. I would have been completely frustrated, not just because I would have been overwhelmed, but because there were people who I would have to say no to who really wanted my help. And I believe that mastermind groups are one of the most powerful things that I do. And if I didn't have this system, I would have said 91 leads. Oh my God, I don't want to look through all these things. Like, this is going to take forever. That means 91 emails. That means 91 calls I might have to do. But going right into the back end of the system and never logging into my Gmail account once, that's how I count success. I never had to log into my Gmail account, and everything is right there. And so the more and more I can eliminate from the inner workings of the things that like move the business forward, the better it is. And that's just how I look at it. So we got that link there. If you're interested, check out the page. If you have questions, I want you to email us. You can email Connie at mikekim.com if you have any questions about, you might be, well, I have this, and that system. Does it work? By and large, the answer is going to be with Connie. She's going to help you understand kind of what makes sense for you. And I want to take some more of these questions. Okay, so we'll stay on for another 10 minutes or so. Now, if tonight is not the right time to move forward with this, I don't want to discourage you from signing up, because if you have some pretty big initiatives coming up, it's really important that you get the system started, right? Keith's clicking through right now to check it out. That's awesome. This is ongoing, and it is a software that we make available to everybody. And the reason we white labeled it is because it works so well for me and the kind of business that I run. I'll be doing more of these presentations for the rest of the year, right? Just some of these info sessions to try to continue unpacking how I'm using it. But I want to make sure that we hit on any questions here. So Paige, why don't you go first again? And then we'll go to Giles, and then we'll go to Rocky. Paige?
The coach that I worked with on the Life Beyond Trauma Burn Survivor Summit, she doesn't like to use Google all that much and all the Google things, and she could probably benefit from having a system like this. And what can I send her when I ask her?
Yeah, you can send her the replay to this call if she wants to watch it, or you can just send her that link that Connie had here, brainviewfunnels.com/special offer, or you can just sign up for the monthly trial at brainviewfunnels.com. And thanks for getting word out. And we've met a lot of people who have said this system would work really well for somebody that I know. And they say that because they have businesses similar to the one that I have, right? Giles, then we'll go to Rocky.
Thanks again, Mike. I can see how this system works in your business for someone running some different things. I'm quite new even to this, using CRM. So I feel like a real novice. And I'm just wondering, is this system therefore too complex for somebody like me starting out? Should I be looking for something simple? Go ahead.
So here's what's funny. I know Connie just shut off her video for a second. But if you asked her, like, does Mike know how to use this system? She would literally just say, if Mike can figure it out, anyone can figure it out, because I hate tech. Most people have this conception that like, I like tech. I hate it. I'm not good at this stuff. But I realized that the way the system was set up makes it so easy for me. All of that info is very intuitive for the way that people like you and I use it, right? Connie, would you say that if like I can figure out how to use this, anyone can figure out how to use this? Yeah, she never wants to badmouth me, but that's true, right? And it's like, yesterday we ran into this thing, for example, and I think that a lot of you could relate to this, right? Yesterday was the deadline for the folks to sign up for the mastermind group. And I had people who paid and people who didn't. I wanted to email the people who didn't to remind them to register before midnight. Typically, what I would have to do in the past is to go into my Google Forms, export all the people who paid, right? And then put them into my ConvertKit under masterminds, and then exclude them from the list of people who didn't pay. And now I'm spending 10 minutes in this thing, and she just showed me a 1-minute Loom video on how to do this, and it was done. It was incredible. Then I knew some of the people who hadn't registered yet, but were going to, and I just texted them from within the system. It was crazy. I just went in to come here. Let me show you. I couldn't believe that you could do all this. Like, I'm like you. I was like, no way. And she was telling me this stuff. And that's, this is not the most polished presentation I realize that I'm giving you guys, but it's because I'm like, I can't believe this really is that simple. Let me just show you, Giles, what goes on here. So here in this conversations tab, okay, I've emailed or texted all of these people in some way, shape, or form. Here's Uli as an example. These are all automated messages that he got, right? Pay for this thing. And then I said, you know, if you have any other questions, feel free to email me back right here. And hey, this is an automated email, but if you reply, it will come to me. This is what I sent it, right? And I said, thanks for registering. We have the kickoff call on June 15th. Excited to work with you in the mastermind. And, you know, he just writes me back, right? Same here. Have a great holiday weekend. And I can just write him back right here. I can just send email and write him. If I have his phone number, I can text him. And as long as I do it right through this system, Giles, let me just find somebody who has a phone number, right? Let me use Connie. Maybe she has her phone number in here. The whole world will see her, okay? Oh, she doesn't. But if she did, I can literally just send her a text message, right? And as long as I'm within this system, it will record right here. And all of the conversations are right here. And I can see all the activity that she's done, you know, and if someone says, well, I didn't fill out the form yet, you know, well, yes, we can see that. All I've had to learn is contacts, opportunities, and that's it. She set up all the automations, and that's what that package I was talking about was. I had pre-written emails that Chelsea and I had created. Connie took them and put them and built the pipeline for us. And now that I understand it, it's easy. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, if you roll back the clock, say 10 years to where you were in your business then, and had this system, would you have used it?
Yeah, 1000%.
At the stage you were at.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was doing masterminds early on. I just never thought I could do more than one because there were so many logistical gaps in it. Secondly, I will say that this was a more emotional thing, but I felt very, very like, I felt like I was shooting blind a lot when I was marketing things. Like when I was promoting things on email or social media, I really didn't have data to support why something was working more than something else, right? I would see people who bought something and I wouldn't know how they really found me. And if I said, well, okay, well, it was really dumb to do a book, right? But if I look at the mastermind leads, a lot of people read the book. So I know that that was a smart thing to do, right? Having that information as a marketer, as a small business owner, which is essentially what I am. I'm a small business owner. To have that kind of information in a business like the one that I have, to be able to know that, wow, this person downloaded my book bonuses and ended up joining the mastermind. What that tells me as a business owner is, why don't I email all the people who have downloaded book bonuses, send them a tailored message with 2 clicks and say, hey, I know it's been a minute, but the 1-year anniversary of my book is coming soon. And since you downloaded the bonus materials, I'd love to send you a free piece of content or offer, I'm going to do a free webinar and I want to take you through. That list has a ton of people on it who did not join my coaching program 6 months ago, but who are probably open to doing it now. And the fact that I can send them a tailored message with just 2 clicks is pretty powerful. And if I set up another landing page inside Brand New Funnels where they click it, then they're taken into that funnel and say, hey, if you're interested in maybe doing a 1-day workshop where I talk through the book, book a call here. I'd love to see if you're the right fit. And I can take them. There's money in this system because the money is in the database. And before, Giles, all I was doing was, all right, what are we going to launch next? What are we going to launch next? And there was nothing custom tailored to match the behavior that people took in the past. To be able to do that now, it's pretty incredible. And it's allowed me to say, I don't have to run around like a chicken without a head, filling literally every open slot on my calendar with calls. I have space and margin to breathe. So I would say this, there's nothing to lose to trying the software for a month. If you find that after that, you're like, you know what, I don't even want to deal with this, but I can see a lot of the potential. Talk to Connie and we maybe do that migration package for you. But I will die on this hill. I will say, I could never have scaled the mastermind groups the way that I did in the last month and then taken a month off of work if it was not for these things. To finally have something that does what makes sense for my business was really, really important. So yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. Thanks for asking the questions. Rocky, you're up next and then we'll close up here.
Yeah, hey, thank you. Appreciate taking the question, and thanks
I like
to
your
you
shirt,
and Connie
man.
for
I like
the
your shirt.
presentation. Oh, you're welcome. So I've been, full disclosure here, I've been burned in the past by so-called marketing systems that have been branded, and they were supposed to be all that plus a bag of chips, right? Everything all rolled into one. And the tech support in that past was lacking. There were a lot of bugs in it. I'm not indicting you or anybody else, but I'm gun shy about this entire thing, right? And I spent $697 to become a founding member of that particular system and felt like I completely wasted my time because the learning curve on it was just so high. Final point of this confession is that because the technological learning curve on it was so steep, I felt like a failure in my business because I couldn't master this marketing system. All right. So knowing that, there's some hand-holding along the way, and probably a lot of hand-holding in the case of a guy like Giles and myself. So my question is, I could see how it replaces a lot of interconnected things, such as Kajabi. But one of the focuses of my business is really it's about membership and membership having its privileges. And one of the things that Kajabi can do is archive a lot of digital material that my members can have, my VIP members can have access to. Can this system do that?
Yes. Yep. I'm actually taking all of my stuff off Kajabi and putting it in here. The reason I didn't do so in the past was because I had like a lot of people in Kajabi, and migrating them over while I was in the middle of launching something would have been really, really, crazy. It would have driven my team crazy. So actually from this point forward, every course I create is going to be housed inside the system. The wild thing is that the inside of this system, the user interface, looks just like Kajabi, because you can't copyright the UI, I guess, right? So that side looks like Kajabi. The landing pages look like ClickFunnels, which I'm used to because I use ClickFunnels for so many years, right? And I want that in one place. I want the people who are in my Kajabi account in this system, because first of all, I'll save $1,200 a year on Kajabi. Okay, that's money that I could use for something else. But secondly, since they're in the system, I can email everybody who has bought a product in the past and send them an offer. I can exclude people who have bought that item in the past while promoting it to new people, all in one place. Now, some of the marketing systems that are out there, I don't really know what they like. The system you're talking about, I'm not super familiar with. But the one thing I would say here is that this isn't a content creation type thing that I'm using it for. I'm still writing my own content. I'm still creating my podcast. I'm still creating my own social media somewhere else. And I'm not promising to anybody that you could just download my social media template and it's going to work for you. I don't believe that, right? What I'm talking here is that the things I was already using Kajabi and ClickFunnels for, I will always need that in my business. I need a place to archive digital content, like you mentioned, and I need landing pages, right? I will always need that. And I will always need the backend SOPs and the information, the customer database stuff to see what my clients are behaving and what they're doing. This marries the two. which is why I'm able to click on Katie, see that, wow, she bought my book, ended up coming to my conference and joined a mastermind. Okay, if I do the math on that, I know that the things that she did in my business have brought in over $3,000 of revenue. That's really good. Well, if there's one of her, maybe there are more people who downloaded the bonuses in my book and bought it and would come to maybe not a conference, but to come to a virtual workshop that I host, and maybe they'll join a mastermind. So I'm having this actual information. I'm making intelligent decisions based on what I'm seeing. And that's what this does. I can't imagine trying to do that with, the other systems that are out there. It's really, really given me at my fingertips a dashboard of my business. I can see my business in a snapshot, and that's why it's so powerful. And that's why I'm talking tonight about not necessarily just a piece of software, but it's what that software, in conjunction with the decisions I made to intentionally get control of my calendar, to find out what the most profitable things I do are, and then build a system around those things. That is what has made this possible. I literally can't imagine it working any other way.
Yeah, I could see how it marries a lot of different systems, and the thing that that this does that a lot of other things that I've seen out there that people are trying to promote, that this does it doesn't, others don't do, is the CRM portion of it, the client relationship management portion of it. My final question, and I know that there's probably dozens and dozens more, but my final question is, what does the system do for you in terms of summarizing your financials at the end of the or along the client relationship journey? If, for example, I need to mail some documentation to my bookkeeper, how can the system help me?
Connie, do you have any thoughts on that? Back-end finances, reporting?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it can track your revenue, like your income, your revenue, your invoices you create. There's an invoice system in there, so you don't have to send PayPal invoices and things like that. But it also integrates with QuickBooks on the back end. So you're able to connect it to your QuickBooks if that's a system that you use, and then that's how you can pass along the information to. But this is not an accounting software, so you would need a Xero or QuickBooks account for like your expenses and things like that, but it will track your revenue.
And you can see here, Rocky, that there's an invoicing. Yeah, there's invoicing right here.
I can import that data to QuickBooks, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it'll actually integrate. So you don't even have to do an export.
That's even better. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. It was nice visiting with all of you guys.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Our pleasure. And again, you guys can see, like, it's super versatile. And I've never seen anything like this, to the point that I'm like, this just really works for the everyday business owner who's trying to build the online element of their business. Right. And it gives you all this information. And that, for me, was the biggest struggle. And I admit this, for a long time, I felt like I was flying blind because I didn't know what people were doing. And I couldn't with confidence say that this is the next best move. And when you're in that space, and then you're trying to do a launch, right, Rocky? You're just like trying to launch something. You're like, is this really even the right thing to do? Well, what I know is it's the right thing to email the people who downloaded my book bonuses and offer them something connected to my book. And I can do that right now. And emotionally, I'm in a really good place because I could say, well, Katie did it and she ended up a client in some way, shape, or form. Maybe there are other people on this list who'd want to do that. Instead of sending it to, 50,000 email subscribers just blindly to my list, right here within the system, what do they say? That it's always more expensive to get a new customer than to get a repeat customer. Right. And I just kind of circle back to what James Clear said. You don't rise to the level of your talent. I think I'm talented at some things. I think I've shown that I have expertise in some things, but I was failing because the systems weren't in place. And so everything I've talked about tonight is all about systems, how I'm systemizing my calendar, my calls, the work week, time off, and this. So I hope this all makes sense. Sharon, we'll do one more and then we'll close with you.
Hi, I just want to jump in really quickly just because, you know, I'm not Mike, I'm not Connie. I'm just like Joe Blow here in the back end. And I've been using the brand new funnel since its inception. I was actually on the beta team, and it baffles me beyond belief. I can't even work the remote control on the TV sometimes, but every time I kept looking through systems, it was so overwhelming. Like Mike said, like there was just so many things out there. And that was my biggest issue, is that I was falling because of the systems. I had my zone of genius and that kind of thing. And so I stuck with it, and then I get frustrated and I would go and look at something else like Kajabi or MailChimp or whatever, and just adding up all the prices and everything, but having all these different systems that had to talk to each other, it just overwhelms me even more. And that every week support call, and even like a chat system, like if there's anything you need, we have never had any issues whatsoever getting help with anything. And as soon as I uncovered one thing, I was so excited. It was like, oh, I could figure out how to send emails now. We had an issue, we reached into support, they helped us and everything. So I kept looking to go somewhere else, but it just kept solidifying why I stuck this out. And I still have no clue all the stuff I can do, but I'm not going anywhere because I see the potential for this. So I'm just an average customer, but I wanted to put that 2 cents worth in there in case anybody is interested. They're phenomenal. I swear by it.
Amazing. Thank you, Sharon. We're really grateful for that. We did not ask her to do that. She just did that out of the kindness of her heart. So thank you, Sharon. That means a ton. Guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. I'm going to send you the link to the replay as soon as we get it processed. Guess where that replay will be? It'll be in Brand New Funnels. Okay. And I will know when you click on it. So, you know, I got all the data, and then we'll have an automated email that pushes out with the replay, right? So all of this has been built out. It's pretty awesome, right? When it comes to all that. And if you have any questions, really, I think those of you who know me and have been around me long enough, you know that I don't promote anything that I don't truly find valuable. And this system has given me the most valuable thing I can think of right now, which is time. It's just time. And the secondary benefit to what I was talking about with Giles is that it's put me in the right energetic space and the emotional space to be able to do things with confidence in the business, and also say no to things in confidence, and know that it's okay. I don't have to do that because I'm doing what's most profitable in the business. I don't have to do those other things unless I really want to. And there's a great deal of confidence that comes from that, because I think many of us do think along the lines of, how much am I leaving on the table? I can't afford to take a break. I've got to go do the things. And then when we get in that space, you end up with a calendar like I used to have, right? Now I feel like I can peel back. I can step away. Things are okay. And the system has been the savior of all that. So really, so whether you use the software or not, we'd love to help you if you want it. If you're interested, even if you don't, seriously, everyone on this call, please get control of your calendar. Figure out where you can have a no appointment day. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay. And that will force you to squeeze what you all are already doing, and you will find what rises to the top and what that most important thing really is. If you do that, you're going to be able to make decisions down the road that are that much better for you and for the business. So that link again will email out in the morning. You can read the sales page, everything, all the information should be there. And if you need any extra support, you can just chat Connie right on that page. She and the team will unpack that. Susan, I know you had a question on, does it house courses? And can I show you what the inside of that looks like? I can't right now because they're still uploading the videos from one of my new certification programs. But give it a week and it'll be in there. We'll demo it, and we'll shoot a video or screencast and show you what that looks like. It looks just like Kajabi. It's amazing. So, all right, y'all. I know systems are a big overhaul, but take what you learned here, apply at least the first few things to your own situation, and live with a little bit less stress, please. Right? It'll be good for you. I promise it'll be good for you. All right. Great to see you all. Have a wonderful evening, and hope to see you inside Brand New Funnels as well. It's an amazing tool. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.